following program is suitable for general audience of any age.
Education is not a filling of a pail, but a lighting of a fire. Now, this timeless thought reminds us that education is not about knowledge, but about shaping a character, values, and futures. Hello and welcome everyone to a special presentation right here on Other Derana News Channel. We're joining you today on the historic grounds of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. This college is celebrating their 175 years of educational excellence this year. And in this conversation today, we'll dive into how this journey began 175 years ago, what were the challenges during this journey, how they overcame it, and most importantly, what is in store for the years to come ahead. And to talk about this topic, I have the most ideal person, I would say, to talk about this valuable journey, and that is the 20th Warden of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, Mr. Asanka Perera.
Hello.
It's an honor to have you. Thank you for taking your time and joining me on the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, everything goes back to the roots. So, let's start with the history of St. Thomas's College. Where did it all begin before this 175 years?
Yes, so St. Thomas's began its operations in 1851 in Muttual. The school was founded by the first Bishop of Colombo, Bishop James Chapman. So incidentally, when he was looking for a place to build a school, he had laid eyes on Mount Lavinia Hotel, which was too expensive for him to buy at the time. And so he fixed his eyes on a little hill in Muttual. So the school, which began there in 1851, over the years grew, but was there for about 67 years. But it was right next to the docks, and the ships at the time was operating on coal, and the coal dust became a huge problem to the school, where there were layers of dust formed on the tables every morning, and so it was very, very unhealthy for the children to breathe. And so at the time, Warden Stone decided that we need to move. And so when St. Thomas's then was transplanted from Muttual to Mount Lavinia, it's as if we just came home, because the Bishop Chapman and the founder actually wanted to build a school in Mount Lavinia. Anyway, so having come here then in 1918, we have now been here since that day. So over 100 years we have now been operating from this particular in this particular ground, and we have done quite well over the years. We've had many improvements over the years. We started off with just 2 buildings in the school, and then the chapel got added later on, and the main hall got added later on, and then the buildings just kept expanding because the numbers kept expanding. And so, having celebrated 100 years at Mount in 2018, we are now celebrating 175 years of existence of the entire school from Muttual all the way till today.
I mean, if you look around, we see that this school definitely has a rich history, and we see schools with 100 years of excellence, but then this, I think what stands out is that rich history, which lays back to 175 years ago. With that question, I would like to divert into something I want to know personally from you now. Taking on this legacy of 175 years onto your shoulders, being the caretaker, definitely it's not an easy task. So I would like to first, before going ahead of our conversation, I want to know, how did you take this challenge? I'm pretty sure it's a challenge. And how do you take it upon, and so far how it has been?
It is a challenge, and a challenge I look at it very positively. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. There have been 19 wardens before me who have all improved the school as they went along in their years as wardens. So I just need to take it from where it is at the moment and take it forward into a future which we don't really know what it's going to be like. And so the uncertainty of education in society in the future is what is challenging, I think, the most. But the school has passed its 175 years, and we have a good heritage, a good history to back us up. But of course, taking it forward will be this present generation's responsibility. And so, although it is a big challenge, I look at it very positively and with a lot of enthusiasm because I think we can do something and go forward.
Warden, now, I think you served as a sub-warden for 9 years before you were appointed the warden. So you have been in service for the college for a long time. So I actually want to know if we take, let's roughly take it as 10 years. 10 years in this rapidly fast-changing world, I'm pretty sure you saw how this school evolved within that time period. Instead of going to the whole 175 years first, how have you seen the growth and the journey during the tenure you have served?
Uh, yes, that 10 years was actually uh, one of the challenging 10 years, I would say, in recent history. Having to combat Easter bombings and having to combat COVID and still keep the school relevant and still keep the school functioning with the children working from home was one of the biggest challenges I think we have faced in recent times. Uh, and so all that put together, I think we've come out quite well on top of the challenges that which have put into our plate. We were one of the first schools which had online education. And so as soon as we heard about the lockdowns coming and the fact that it might be for quite a long time, we delved very quickly into technology. We got our teachers trained in technology and we got online very quickly. And I'm very happy and proud of our staff for having adapted and adopted very quickly. So school has grown. We've even in the last 10 years, many things have changed, many improvements have come about. But I think that's the entire thing about a school. It's the entire thing about an institution of this nature. We can't just keep resting on our past laurels. We can't keep thinking of tradition and what happened in the past. We have to keep thinking about the future and where the school needs to go. Because tradition is dynamic. It needs to evolve with time. And so that is what we have done in our last 10 years.
Warden, going before that 10 years now, definitely those 10 years were very turbulent times with so many things happening to Sri Lanka. During this journey of 175 years, from the things you've experienced and the things you've heard, you are a Thomian yourself, and it's been 14 years of education and then serving the college after that. What were the major challenges during these 175 years?
I think it's challenges are many. As I said earlier, in Mutual, you had the challenge of the coal dust coming in. The school was expanding at a rate where that the premises was not enough, and so we had to move. Moving a school is not easy, I presume, no doubt. And so having to move everyone from one location to this new location, coming here, having only 2 buildings to work with, and a couple of thatched buildings around the place, that would have in itself had its own challenges. The school has had financial difficulties when we're trying to put up new buildings, we're trying to buy new land. And so every era of wardens have had their own challenges. But the best part of St. Thomas's is that having gone through those challenges, it's like metal being heated to molten lava in order to shape it. I think those challenges are what makes St. Thomas's current at the moment, and we'll be able to face future challenges also going forward.
Warden, in terms of educational institution, I think the academics plays a major role. So before delving into the things beyond academics, let's talk about the academics at St. Thomas's.
Academics, we offer schooling from nursery it's at the age of 2+ to A levels. The nursery was a new addition, the latest addition to the school, which came in 2017. And that was introduced by my predecessor, the former warden, Warden Mark Bilimoria. So we start from an age of 2+, right through a school up to O levels, which has the local curriculum. And A levels, we offer both the local and the Edexcel curriculums. We offer a wide variety of subjects, and we don't insist on saying, all the children have to become doctors or scientists or whatever. We offer a wide variety of subjects for the child to study the subject of their passion. So from the arts, from commerce to science to maths, in the A levels, up to the O levels, I guess they are in a ministry regulated study schedule. But we do as much as we can, not necessarily teaching with books, not necessarily just staying in class and just reading off a textbook, but also to try to teach them about a lot more than what is in the textbooks. Education, if it's only to read and understand what is in a textbook, will be very limiting to children. And so to learn about what happens out there, what happens in nature, what happens in society, if you don't prepare them for that, I think we've failed them. Even if they get 3 years at the A levels or 9 years at the O levels, I don't think we've done too many favors for the children, because they wouldn't know how to behave in society, how to look at technology, how to use that in their own endeavors. And so education to us is just much more than what we can find inside books. And we encourage as many teachers as possible to take the children out of the classroom, because we have as you see, we have a beautiful campus. We have a variety of birds who fly in. So to just take them outside, to be one with the nature, to have an experiential understanding of each of the subjects, which in my opinion is one of the good things which comes out of education right now.
Varun, you brought a very important fact that not limiting to the books. If you look at the Sri Lankan education system, it's very, I would say, it's very hard for one person to get outside the box. And I would say engaging in a career that you love is a much more better option than following something else. So if you could tell me any first-hand experiences or something that you witness in terms of how students excel in following what they love instead of sticking to what's in theory.
So I can give a very good example, especially when it comes to A levels, right? We have, as I said, various streams which children can follow, but sometimes, for various reasons, I'm not going to delve into what the reasons are. For various reasons, a child might choose a subject area which he is not necessarily comfortable with, but he's choosing it because he has other pressures he has to meet. So I know firsthand of at least a few boys who have taken up bio, physics and chemistry as their 3 subjects for A levels. Did not do too well over the years, and so kept getting bad marks through the 3 years, and finally went for the exam, went for the A levels, and did not make it through. But having finished that first Shai, the second Shai, within 1 year, they changed their subjects to art subjects, to subjects with language, with subjects with history or divinity. And they've got 3 A's in that 1 year of having studied that entire course in just 1 year, converted 3 W's to 3 A's. And that is what we offer here. We offer that variety, so the children have that option, that flexibility of choosing the subjects they want to study. Unfortunately, there are times when they don't get to choose the subjects they want to study, and they're forced to study subjects which they don't like, and they become miserable sometimes in those subject areas. But then finally, when they do get that chance, that opportunity, and they do choose the subjects which they like to do, all of a sudden you see them coming out of their shell and blossoming. And that's the beauty of education.
Definitely. Since we went about the fact that going side of the books, not only sticking to the books and going beyond that, St. Thomas's College is mainly known for its co-curricular activities and also sports. So what is the support system for that, and what is the main reason, if you take the schooling system in Sri Lanka, St. Thomas's College actually stands out for all these activities beyond the classroom. So let's take a moment to elaborate on that.
Yes, so we have, we offer a variety of sports, we offer a variety of clubs and societies for children to be part of. And we insist on every child, at least from grade 6 upwards, have to do a minimum of at least one sport and be involved in at least one club or society. Because all of that teaches a child different things, and all that is outside of the classroom. Right? Classroom has its academics, and that's wonderful. You have to learn what the subject content you need to learn. That's a given. You need to sit for exams. That's a given. But what makes a child a whole human being is looking at all the other aspects of growth as well, and that's where sports, clubs, and societies, extracurricular, co-curricular activities come in. And so we do give a very important weightage on that, on each of those activities, because we want them to experience life, experience growth, so that when they go out into society, they'll be going as an overall a full human being. This is not just in St. Thomas's. I'm sure many of the other schools offer this as well. But we do put a lot of weightage on the importance of extracurricular activities. So we offer about 29 to 30 sports. We have about 7 to 8 academies for the lower school. That's grades 1 to 5. They start with the basics. They start with basic love for the sport and growing with the sport. We offer 58, 59 clubs or societies to be part of. And so that's a whole variety of extracurricular activities. And not to mention, we also give importance to the spiritual growth. So the school starts with chapel for Christians and religious observances for the other religions. We think of all religions as equal importance. We think language as various languages, various media as being equally important. And so all that put together becomes what's important in a child's growth.
Yeah, I think, Warden, if you take a school journey of educational journey of a student, what the school actually needs to do is, in terms of mental, physical, and spiritual well-being, you have to provide that in terms of leadership, in terms of public relations. I think school is the place. So I think this institution giving priority to those kind of aspects is the reason that this stands out in the educational fraternity of Sri Lanka. And you also mentioned interesting part on 20 plus sports. So I do need to dive into that. But before that, let's head into a short commercial break. You're watching a special presentation right here on Ada Derana News Channel. Welcome back. You're watching a special presentation right here on Ada Derana News Channel. We are here at St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, who is celebrating 175 years of educational excellence. And I'm joined here with the Warden of St. Thomas's College. Warden, we stopped in terms of extracurriculars and sports, and you did mention an interesting fact about the college offering diverse options of sports. And me personally, I also noticed that St. Thomas's do have unique opportunities and well diversified sporting opportunities, also clubs and societies. So I'm sure this is not something new. It has been there for a long time. And if you could tell, what made St. Thomas's add those into their curriculum, and how challenging it is to keep up, because it's not something common we see in other schools. So definitely there's a set of challenges which poses you. So let's talk about that.
Yes, I think one of the reasons why we've added those sports over the years is that there has been a set of students who found it interesting, who found it necessary, who thought that they'll excel well in those sports. There was interest, and that interest is what grew from one sport to another sport getting added. So most of the time we don't add the sport ourselves. Most of the time the boys come and say, "Sir, we'd like to start this sport," and so we see, okay, how much of interest is there? How many boys would like to do this particular sport? And then we think it's viable. We think, okay, fine, let's look at it. Let's look at adding this as one of our sports. So having over the years we've added some sports which not many schools have done. Of course, we have cricket takes first priority. Then we have rugby in the school, which is also important. We have football, hockey, badminton, tennis. We have those sports, and we've had that for those for a long time. But we also have the not necessarily common sports. For example, we have fencing in the school. We have we offer go-karting,
Exactly.
karting racing, which I think we are the only school to offer karting as a sport at the moment. And here again, it's the interest came from the students, came from the boys to say we would like to do this, and having given that green light, karting, for example, has excelled wonderfully. They've a team of 4 boys have went to
Represented
Dubai
international.
last year.
Yes.
Correct. We went and took part in international races. We had for the first time an inter-house karting race at the port city this year, and so these boys have done absolutely well, and that just shows that the more variety you add and you bring into the picture, there's always someone who's interested in that, and they want to excel to the highest capacity they can, given the opportunity. And so our responsibility is to give that opportunity. And so that's why I said we have 28, 29 sports. Each sport is given equal importance. Each sport we encourage boys to join and to be part of. Not every sports, not every child is going to be an athlete. Is not every child is going to be a good cricketer or a good rugby player or a good football player. So if you offer only few sports, then the majority of the boys are going to get left out. And so if you offer some variety, from chess to Scrabble to carom, these are all sports in which, at least games and activities in which the students can excel, and that's what we're after.
I think something really interesting that I found out in your answer is that students come and pitch it, and then you all create the background for it. I think that is something that a lot of institutions should take in mind, because rather than offering what you have to them, taking their opinions, getting their input, and offering what they require, I think that's something that really stands out inside this college. So, sticking to sports, Warden, we saw Tavi Samaravira, proud Thomian, excelling. He first achieved world number 2 in the under-11 table tennis rankings, in the world rankings. And then recently, he moved up to number 1. And also, if you take the go-karting team, they went to Dubai, represented internationally,
Right.
being the only school in Sri Lanka to have the sport. So, let's talk about the support system. We are not talking about just national representation. We are definitely, if you look at the national representation, Thomians, not hard to find. And now we are talking about the global representation. So, as the college, what's the support system that you all have embedded so that these young talents, if you take someone like Tavi, under 11, what is the support system inside the school that they thrive so much?
I think being given the opportunity to excel in their sport, without any restrictions, without saying you can't play a particular sport, or without saying you have to do certain things in the school or something like that. You have to achieve something in the school before you can achieve something globally, without having restrictions. The children being allowed to do what they like and go to the and excel in whatever the field they choose. I think that in itself is a support system that we offer from college. But for most of these international tours, that comes at a cost, and that cost is not very easily borne by the students or the parents or even the school, and so we depend a lot on our old boys, and so we have a fantastic OBA and old boys network in the country, outside the country. We have from US to UK to Australia to New Zealand. We have a variety of a large array of old boy chapters. Plus, the Mount Lavinia OBA has been a fantastic support system for the college. And so when students like this require support financially, these old boys come together and they try to help out as much as they can. Because at the end of the day, these are students, and this is going to set their path for the rest of their lives, and that's where the old boys come in and give that support.
I think the reason that the old boys also do support, as you mentioned, is that they value their time at school so much. That is, I think, what drives them to do. Is there anything else in terms of OBS that you would like to mention?
Just to say my thanks to the OBAs across the world and in Sri Lanka, in Mount Lavinia. The support they have provided us has been immense. And so it's always a partnership between the old boys and the school, where the school manages its operations without any issues, but for development, infrastructure or otherwise, we depend a whole lot on the OBA, and so we are absolutely happy with how they have partnered with the school, not opposing the school. If ever there's no opposition between the OBA and the school, that partnership breaks, and we can't have that. So there's a good partnership, and that partnership is what we take forward going into the future. And so with their support, with the old boys' support, and with the school partnering with them, the school can go places.
In terms of achievements, we did talk about sporting achievements. Is there any other achievements that you would like to put it out there that St. Thomas's College have achieved?
Well, we have been doing well across the field. I'm not one to list down to say that we've won certain things. But as sports have it, there's always a winner. There's always who does not win and learns from their mistakes. There's always been ups and downs, and so if we have a fantastic season this year, we might not have a fantastic season next year. That's all right. Because sports teaches much more than just winning.
Losing is also part of the game.
Losing is also part of the game. That's why you play the sport. And that is very much in line with what life is. Life is never about winning and always going upwards. You always have downs. You always have your challenges. You always have your roadblocks. And so schools teach that through sports, and that's one of the very important lessons which the children have learned.
Let's talk about the facilities here at St. Thomas's College. I'm pretty sure education itself needs a lot of facilities, and facilitating 28 to 29 sports, that's a lot of facilities out there. And in terms of the science streams, the mathematics streams, that needs advanced level needs a specific set of facilities. In terms of ordinary level, there's another set of facilities, and I recall that you told that you all do offer nursery education too. That requires another set of facilities. And also I'm pretty sure the boarding facilities are also available at St. Thomas's. So let's talk about the facilities here.
Yeah, so we do offer all these facilities to the students. In how we look at things is that the student comes first, and what does the student need? That's where we need to come in. Yes, from the boarding house, 3 dormitories. We have about 50 boarders staying with us at the moment, and that again fluctuates, goes up and comes down. We have a nursery specifically built for children of that age. We have laboratories. We have IT labs. We have for sports. We have 2 grounds. We have a swimming pool. We have a sports complex. We have a gymnasium. And so, yes, it comes at a cost, because maintaining all these facilities are not easy at all. But it is definitely something worthwhile, because at the end of the day, what I can be happy with is that a student used these facilities and went on to make something of his life. And that is what gives us joy, because that's something we have done for a child's future.
Talking about the facilities, not only facilities, being accommodating to those facilities and also shaping the education curriculum. I think a college like St. Thomas's College wants to offer the child the most updated set of things. If you take the world, it's fast evolving, it's rapidly changing. What might be there last year could entirely change this year. I mean, the best example is you mentioned during the past 7 to 8 years, the turbulent times. COVID came in, we had to entirely digitalize the entire system, and
Agreed.
it was very fast to adapt. But then colleges like St. Thomas, as you mentioned, took it as a challenge. But then I think adapting to that digitalized system has given so many benefits by now. So not only education, but in terms of all these sporting facilities to co-curricular facilities and the other infrastructure inside the school, how has the college met with the up-to-date standards and adapt accordingly with the fastly changing world?
I think a lot has to do with the support we have received from across the world through our OBA. We have a few years ago, but 3 or 4 years ago, we had something called a Walk a Mile, which was a fundraising expedition where we collected all the money to put up smart boards in all the classrooms, and so that's one of the upgrades I'm very happy that we were able to do. This came soon after COVID, so the teachers had already learned how to give fantastic presentations and conduct online classes and all that, and now we offer the technology inside the classrooms through smart boards, and now education has just gone up a notch because of that. So I think for most of the infrastructure improvements, if not all, we have depended entirely on the support we receive from our old boys, our parents, and well-wishers, and that's the way we have been able to go forward. And we, while being thankful to everyone, that is where we depend entirely, almost, for the improvements.
In terms of numbers, is any rough number you can give me on the students and the
Numbers, as in the number of students we have? Yes,
currently.
we have currently 2,800 students, but just over 350 staff. And so it's quite a large school in comparison. Not as large as some of the big ones, but when it comes to managing a school of this size, it's not an easy task, because every child has to be taken care of, will have their own individual needs, and plus they also become part of a society. This is the community within St. Thomas's is a different type of community compared to another school or compared to society. So we look after everyone going forward. I mean, we ensure that everyone, from staff to student, everyone has something to gain from being here.
Definitely. I think we spoke a lot about multiple areas, and we need to get back to the 175th anniversary celebrations. But before that, let's take a short commercial break. You are watching a special presentation right here on Derana News Channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Derana's special presentation right here on the Derana News Channel. We're here at St. Thomas's College, who are celebrating 175 years of educational excellence, and I'm joined here with the 20th Warden of St. Thomas's College. We did delve into so many areas in terms of education, sports, and what the college offers to the student uniquely, and how the college takes the input of the students and adapt accordingly with the fast-changing world. In our final segment, I would like to dive into the values, the morals of this college. Warden, being an old boy of this institution and also now the caretaker, simple question: what makes a boy from St. Thomas's College stand out in that outer world?
Difficult one to answer, for the mere reason that I don't want to boast about the school or any particular individual, but definitely one of the things which we encourage our boys to do is to be able to, you know what they say, to be able to feast with the kings as well as
Walk with the beggars.
To walk with the beggars, absolutely. I didn't want to say that, but yes. So exactly that. So we want the children to be able to respect human beings, irrespective of where they're coming from, what their background is, what their caste, class, creed, religion, language, all that is just divisive factors, and we just want the children to be able to act and behave the same way around anyone in the future. And that's one of the things I would think that a Thomian would stand out for. If they don't, that's something that Thomian should strive to stand out with that particular quality. Respect should come to everyone, irrespective of any of the divides. Uh, Respect, discipline are two other things which I think is very important, at least in my books, because a child going out of here would, having shown respect, having conducted himself with discipline, has to become a decent human being. And as one of our past great Justice Gresham Justice Gresham Fernando said, St. Thomas's has not been endowed with superior intellect or money or wealth or whatever, but has produced decent men who go into society and marry decent wives, and in their own endeavors set up decent homes. I think that that line to me is what's most important about what St. Thomas's has been in the past, and that line is what should dictate about what St. Thomas's should be in the future as well.
Well, now, at the end of the day, sometimes it all falls to the guardians or the parents to put their son into a school. And definitely, throughout our conversation, it was pretty evident. But let me ask this question so that you get another opportunity. Why would a parent or a guardian consider to send your child to this college to spend his next 13 to 14 years of life, where you come almost the whole week and spend your time, meet new friends, basically to mold themselves for a good 14 years of their life? Why should a guardian send your son here?
Well, I can't answer for the parents. Maybe one might want to do a segment on the parents. But I believe it is what the parents are also looking for is a child who will grow up from 2+ and leave school at 19+. Will go out as a complete human being, having excelled in the academics, having excelled in extracurricular activities, having excelled in sports, having learnt and understood, come to realization about the importance of his spiritual life, spiritual growth. And so it's an overall human being who goes out. And I think any parent would be happy if their child, if their sons become exactly that. Someone who's a positive influence in society, someone who's decent, who can go out there and stand up tall and be able to move around with whomever and be able to always move forward, improve themselves. And I would say those are some of the qualities I think our parents would look for, and that those are some of the qualities that we intend on developing in our children as well. And so that's probably one of the reasons, or a few of the reasons, that the parents might consider St. Thomas's.
I would like to actually add on a question there. So, if we take the current generation, we have Gen Z and we have another one coming, so Gen Alpha. So now you're the warden of St. Thomas's College in this generation. So since we're talking about this, how do you see, is it a challenge? Is there anything different? Is it making your job harder? Or is it making you offer more things? How is it going?
I think every generation would have their own ups and downs and would have their own challenges. But I wouldn't look at it as a challenge. I wouldn't look at it as an obstacle. I would look at it positively to think, okay, these boys come with a different set of expectations, a different understanding, and be able to cater to them, to their needs. But all the while we're looking at grounding them at a level which improves on their discipline, improves on their need to show respect, irrespective of what generation you belong to. Respect cuts across all generations, and so that's one of the things which we are insisting on creating these boys show respect at all times. And so, yes, it will come with itself a set of challenges, a set of different views, so to speak. But I don't look at it as a challenge or something to be scared of. It's just that they're looking at it from a different angle. They're looking at it from a different perspective. Okay, let's see what we can do from our side.
All right. So, is there a set of positives? I mean, obviously there's a set of positives. What are the positives, I would say, in this young generation?
So right now, the boys currently in school, they need to have an answer to the question why. Okay. So if I say do this, they're going to ask me why. Right? So they want to find reason, and so for a lot of things, if I'm making a judgment call, if I'm making a decision, and I might have a conversation with the boy, and I say, these are some of the things which have happened, and it's because of these reasons that I'm considering this. Okay. And that conversation, yes, it might take 5-10 minutes of my time. That's fine, because that helps the child to understand. Okay, his thoughts are also valued, and that's what we should do. Gone are the days where I can sit on a chair and call in a boy, give him 6 of the best and say, do it. That won't work. That won't work these days, and it shouldn't. But that's an important quality, though, to ask that question why, to be able to understand for themselves that these are the reasons we are doing what we are doing, because that would end up helping them when they go out into society, because they can then in themselves ask that question why of themselves and be able to tell them, okay, this is the research I have done. These are the positives, the negatives, the cons and the pros, yeses and the nos. This is why I will do this. So that important question, the why, is something which the boys ask these days, and that's quite all right.
It's really nice to see that you're taking it in that way, because it's not that the boys are questioning, is that they want a logical explanation.
Absolutely, they just want that logical explanation. They're not being disrespectful. They're being respectful, but they just would like to understand better. And that's not something we should ever feel threatened. And I would sit them down and have a conversation and say, these are the reasons why, and they understand. I mean, they do understand. They'll take it up, whatever it is, whether it's a punishment or a treat.
As you said, it might take 10 to 15 minutes of your time, but I think that makes the job easier for you as well as the process easier for them.
Correct.
So getting into the 175th anniversary celebrations, Warden, we saw a line of events which already occurred starting from the 3rd of February. Mm-hmm. And until when would this run, and what are the events in line?
Actually, celebration started last year. From the 5th of February of 2025, that's when we had the service of Thanksgiving. We had it at Mutual to have the connection between Mutual and Mount Lavinia. We had a service of Thanksgiving there on the 5th, and we had 3 events last year. We had an essay competition, All Island. We had an All Island oratory competition, All Island innovation and entrepreneurship competition. And now we just had a celebration on the 3rd of February where we again started with the service. As you see, spiritual life is very important to us. We started with the service, giving thanks to all the blessings that we have received. We opened a museum. We launched a stamp. We laid a foundation stone for a new building that's to come up. And then we had an assembly where we had one of our senior most head prefects, Mr. Chandra Shafter, addressing the gathering. We have, going forward, we have a gala dinner planned for the 175th anniversary, which is going to be at the Hilton on the 28th of February. We have a 400 voice choir event that is planned for the 13th of June at the cathedral. We have a jubilee oration that is planned for sometime in July, where I've invited Professor Priyan Das to give the oration. We will have a leadership training program for prefects of the schools in our vicinity. In August, we will have sports events taking place in August. I think, yeah, finally ending the year with a grand Thomian fair, a 3-day fair which we've not had for a long time, with rides and various things taking
So it's
place.
something that has been there in the past that you are reviving, is it?
Oh yes. So for all the anniversaries, special anniversaries like this, we've had Thomian fairs, but we've not had one for a long time. I think 2011 was the last time we had one. Just because it's a hassle and a lot of effort to put an event like this together. But I think it's been a good experience for us as old boys, having had fairs in the past, and I would like the present boys also to experience the same thing, which they haven't had the opportunity of doing.
Wonderful, Warden. Finally, I think with the time we have, this would be the last question for you. But 175 years done and dusted, but I'm pretty sure many more to come. So, in your terms, what are the steps and what will be the process to make sure that just like these 175 years flourished, the years to come ahead would be the same?
I think it's down to the fact that we want the school to stay relevant. We have to adapt and adopt to the societal changes, and if we do adapt and we always stay current, always stay relevant, always stay become a necessity for education in schools. For a school like this will always flourish, and the past has left a legacy for 175 years. I can't tell you what the legacy we are going to leave, but what we leave behind must become legacy in the future.
Well, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this legacy of 175 years. I think you who also understood why this college stands out in the education fraternity of Sri Lanka. So thank you, Mr. Asanka Perera, for joining us. It was an honor interviewing you. And with that, we come to the end of the special presentation right here on Other Than News channel. If you missed this episode, you can always catch on youtube.com/otherthanenglish, and also leave your feedback on feedback.adnc@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 07680579333. With that, we are wrapping up our show. Thank you for watching.